Today's episode is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by Joe Elliott. Now, Joe is not only a fantastic guitar player, he draws on his years of experience as the ex-head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology and also at the McNally Smith Music College. Here's a few words from Joe about the course.
If you're tired of wading through hundreds of random guitar videos and just want to become a better player, Fretboard Biology is your answer. Fretboard Biology is a self-paced, college-level program that'll give you the right instruction, in the right amounts, and in the right order. You'll learn the same information I taught to thousands of other guitar players over 30 years of teaching in top music colleges. If you want to make real progress with your guitar playing, then sign up for a free 7-day trial at fretboardbiology.com.
Hi there, you are listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. My name is Matt Wakeling and this is the show that I produce in Sydney, Australia, where I speak to leading guitarists and guitar figures from all around the world. Thank you so much for joining me. Now today, my guest is Randall Waller, an amazing Australian guitarist, singer, songwriter. We first spoke to Randall way back in episodes 23 and 24. Randall, of course, has an incredible career as a sideman, touring the world with people like Shania Twain, Rose Tattoo, Dragon, Billy Thorpe, Kieth Urban, of course fronting his own band Avion back in the day. But today, Randall joins me to talk about his much anticipated solo album, More, set to be released very shortly. I know there's a lot of our listeners will be super excited to know that Randall's releasing some stuff under his own name. The album's a cracker, and I had a great conversation with Randall all about it. Let's jump straight in. Randall Waller, welcome back to the Guitar Speak podcast.
Mate, 6 years.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
No idea.
Oh, it's mad. Yeah, boy, it goes quick, mate.
It does. So we spoke in 2016, and yep. If anyone's listening to this conversation, they haven't heard that, that's highly recommended because we got pretty deep and had quite a long chronological talk about your story.
Yeah, I barely remember what we spoke about. I think there's some Shania stuff there, and
there was, there was.
Yeah.
So all the Avion, Bonnie Tyler stuff.
Yeah.
Might have talked about Dragon, that kind of stuff, and your own solo stuff previous. But we're here today to talk about your new record, More. I was super excited to hear from you late last year, saying you'd wrapped it up, and so that's cool. So I guess what's the origin story for this record? When did you decide to?
Oh gosh, mate. I started it before we left America. We moved back here in 2005.
Yeah.
So some of the guitar tracks are still there from that, particularly acoustic stuff. Still there from that. There's a few other little bits and pieces that remain, but most of it's, look, I would say 80% of it has been recorded in the last 2-3 years during lockdown, and, I kicked myself in the butt to, get onto it and get it finished. It's just been a monkey on my back for a long time, many years. Some songs I wrote 30 years ago, but most are much more modern than that, and much more recent. And so it started, I suppose, during the second Avion record. We had an engineer that decided the moment I stepped in there that he just didn't like me for some reason, and it just became a real slog. And in the end, another guy came in, Peter Blyton, who was just the savior of that record. The record company gave us 2.5 days to kind of remix the whole thing, basically, and during that time we re-recorded one track pretty much, and it was just very, very quick. But that experience made me want to, I'll just turn this up a bit, that experience made me determined to learn to engineer myself. So during my time in London, living in London, I had a little studio at home, as everyone does now, and just taught myself to to engineer, and then that led on to other things, being hired to engineer and produce other albums for. I did a couple in America for some friends, and then came back here in the early 90s and was working. There was a studio called Eclipse. It was a nice serious studio with a SSL in there, and so I got to know all of that, and it was just a house engineer. Did quite a few albums there. And in between time was also working another studio up the Central Coast. So my days back then through the 90s, mate, I was doing a duo with my girl at the time, and I would get up, very often I'd get up at 7 and drive up to the Central Coast and engineer all day from 9 through to 6. Hit the highway, come back, load up the van, go and start a gig at 9 or, something like that, and do 3:45s and finish up at 12:30 and pack up the van, get home at 2 and then get up at 7 again and just do it all again. And, mate, it was intense. Yeah. Just crazy. It was a crazy amount of work. But learning to record drums, that was a bit of that was a learning curve, and jeepers, I never stopped learning that. That's for sure. But it was just a great experience. I was trusted by a couple of people to do that stuff, and so it was just a great learning ground. But all of that, always in my mind, was the idea that I wanted to put together my own record, so that and I didn't want to be at the mercy of an engineer, so that when I said that guitar is it's just too soft, and so, you can't do that, you can't sort of do it, and there'd be all sort of guitar engineer speak about why you can't do this or you can't do that. And I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, there's faders there, and they don't put 10 on it if they don't want you to use it.
That's right.
Right, and so just here we go. Here's how you do it. Push the faders up. How about that? So, and I found out that it basically is like that, and so so I just became determined to do it myself and not have to answer to anyone, for good, for better or worse. What you hear is me. I engineered it and mixed it and played on it, sang it and wrote it and all of that, with some great guests along the way.
Awesome, man. We'll definitely talk about the guests. Quite a few of them have been on this show as well, so it was kind of nice to see some familiar names and hear them playing alongside you, which was super cool. Good. So I like that attitude, though.
We're all mates and friends, and they've helped me out so much. I'm so grateful to all of them. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I like that attitude, though, of do it yourself, make it sound how you want. And
at least this one, I needed to do that just for myself. Basically just to. I don't know, just some kind of might be narcissistic or something. I don't know. I just wanted to prove that I could, and it's taken too long. But in the middle of all of that, there's been trips overseas and raising kids and helping them with maths homework and doing lunches and being a house dad. And while Susie's been working, and she's been amazing to allow me the latitude to keep doing this. So I've been very, very fortunate, Matt.
Yeah, cool. Man, that's massive to have a vision for this, I guess, for a long time. And like you said, doing it over the last few years, maybe a good quiet window to jump in and do the stuff you want to do to wrap it up. Man, the album sounds massive. So when you talk about getting the faders to 10, it's good to hear you doing doing that.
Oh, good. I'm glad you think so. Yeah, great, mate. It sounds big to me, but I'm always second guessing myself. I'm my own worst enemy, and many of the songs have been done and redone and redone and redone, and I feel like it still sounds fresh. So that's what I'm hearing from people. So it's great.
That's cool. I was going to ask: is there a tension when you're self-producing and writing, and you're the guitarist and the vocalist, and do any of those roles have a tension, like you suggested, like to redo stuff or to not redo stuff?
I suppose the tension for me is when are you finished?
Yeah. Okay.
you just got to, at some point, you just got to put a full stop on it and just say, look, yeah, I'm actually not a perfectionist. Some people think it's taken this long because I am, and I'm really not. Anyone that really knows recording will be able to listen to it and go, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, listen to that. Oh, that vocal part kind of went over just a tiny bit, So I'm not a perfectionist, but I'd like to think I'm very, very particular about the songs themselves.
Okay.
And I would often go back and re-record lyrics just superfluous or redundant, cliche lyrics just get up my kill. I can't stand it. So I think that's perhaps what I'm most proud of is the lyrics on this thing. It says it's kind of a life statement, and it covers all the subjects you're not meant to talk about: sex, politics, and religion, and everything in between. And so I'm really quite proud of those things. But yeah, mate, the tension is, when are you finished?
Okay.
Just call it.
Yeah.
This is fine. It's good. I might, the law of diminishing returns. I might spend another 10 hours on the song, and in the end, you put them side by side, and you think, actually, I like that about the first version. You know what I mean? It's chase your tail. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you doing most of your recording in your home studio?
Yeah, just right here, mate.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep. Down in what used to be the garage. Yeah.
Yep. It's where you see me right now. Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, let's talk about some songs then. Left Behind and On the Brink. Maybe, I mean, they're different songs, of course, but there's some chunky tuning. Are you tuned down to C on those?
Yeah. Down a tone with a drop C. Yes.
Okay. Yep. So drop D.
Yeah, I love that.
Tone.
Noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's through my Diesel Herbert here, and all of that just into a Palmer speaker simulator. There was never a microphone near any electric guitars on this.
Okay.
It was all Palmer direct in, so I could record in the middle of the night with headphones and whatever, It sounds pretty real, I think, and I love this amp. It's just a cracker of an amp. So Left Behind, while I was in America and we were touring around everywhere, have you spent much time in America?
No, I've never been to the States. Been to Europe, been to Asia, but not.
Right. So you don't have to spend too long there, particularly if you go to San Francisco or Santa Monica in Los Angeles. The homeless situation there is just, it's just out of control. Downtown LA has there's virtually a no-go zone. It's a tent city, where people live, and families, and it's just horrendous. So I got this crazy cockamamie idea that I would write a book whilst we were touring, and we went to all 50 states. We didn't go to Alaska with Shania, but I went there with other acts, just everywhere. And I thought, what a good idea would it be to interview homeless people, and I would call it 50 Faces. The working title was 50 Faces, and I would just have a black and white photo, a really high res black and white photo of them, and give a 5 to 10 page synopsis of their life and how did you get here? What happened? And I presumed that I would find all kinds of perhaps engineers or professionals or addicts and everything in between, tradies or whatever, where things in America, you don't have to go too far wrong, but if there's just a few things go wrong for you, there's no safety net there. Well, it's very, very thinly veiled safety net, where if you lose your gig, you lose your job, your wife leaves you, that they foreclose on the house, you can't pay the mortgage anymore. It doesn't take, and you end up there on the street, and it's not a long putt for people to do that. So that's what I expected to find. I went to a few shelters and I asked them. I remember up in Fargo, North Dakota, I went to a shelter one day and I went to the kind of office admin people and I told them what I was wanting to do, and they just kind of looked at each other and went, well, sure, if you can find someone that's actually willing to speak to you, go for it. I found one guy, a kid who was about 21 or 22, and I recorded his interview, which I still have, and he told me his story. However, what became apparent very quickly was that so many of these homeless people actually are hiding. They are not interested in getting back into society. The whole pressure of mortgage, work, family pressures, paying for the car, the picket fence, and blah blah blah. It was that whole scenario had betrayed them, particularly in terms of work life, and they were very happy to just opt out. And some of them are hiding, some of them perhaps hiding from the law or whatever, and therefore showing a face and telling their story. A lot of them not keen to do it.
Yeah, sure.
So that was quite fascinating to me, and it was very eye-opening. So I did interview two people, and a black guy on the steps of a church in Jackson, Mississippi, and this guy in North Dakota. But it became very apparent, especially with the guy in Jackson. No, man, look, I just leave me alone.
Okay.
And they didn't trust me. It was very hard to build any sort of credible trust with these people. They think you're just there to make $1 out of their misery or whatever. And I was going to see, I wasn't wanting to make money out of it. I would have donated it to whatever. Anyway, so that's where Left Behind comes from, and it's about a guy who's he sees a jet overhead, and he sees that like people are going somewhere, people are living their life, and it gives him a sense of dread. In the end, will I find that this is all just in my head? In my own prison. So that's what Left Behind's about. On the Brink is a protest song, basically. Yeah, very much a protest song, and I'm not on board with everything that's happened over the last few years. And I think there's, as more and more info comes out daily these days, that jabs didn't work and don't stop transmission, and the shit that I got for taking that stance and just asking questions about it. You lost friends, and it's divided people all around the world. So that's what that one's about, and that's why the first line says, "Bow down to your self-appointed kings. See now they're slowly killing everything." So that's what that's about.
Yeah, man. You, I guess, understandably, with your view, you're attacking that with a very modern rock,
good
kind of tune as well, which which seems to draw on your vibe on that for sure.
I think Richie definitely raises the tone of that whole song. When his solo starts, it's pretty explosive and mercurial.
It's killer. So I'm going to get to Richie, who's Richard Fortus, maybe best known for Guns N' Roses, amongst other gigs that he's done.
He's been in Gunners longer than Slash has.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go. Before we get to his solo, though, we hear yours, man, and you're killing it. You're wailing. A couple of things I want to ask you. And I've loved your playing for a long time. I've been lucky enough to play with you once or twice, and you're playing, man, you're super melodic, and you rip, and your vibrato sticks out to me as being really thoughtful and considered. Yeah. I'm wondering how much does being
that's great. That's lovely. Oh, that's great. What a compliment. Yeah.
Oh,
love that.
Definitely.
Well, I feel the same about vibrato with singing as well. A lot of people they think that singing is vibrato, and there's a lot, and you're not singing unless you kind of warbling, And the album that put me onto that was The Reason by Hoobastank, which my kids used to call Stankapoop. And that bloke, if you can find a moment of vibrato on the entire album, mate, I'll give you my house, because there's none, and it taught me. And Chester Bennington was a great one for that too.
Okay, yeah. Because
people don't think about it, mate. They don't think, they just go into autopilot or something, and so I just tried to kick myself in the backside to leech it out of my singing as much as I can and use it sometimes, but thoughtful about it, and it's not just automatic. Yeah.
Okay. And then likewise for guitar?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Well, although that tends to be probably more of a habit than my singing, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, interesting. I know you're a big Blackmore fan, and his vibrato is pretty legendary. Good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's awesome, man. Yeah, before we get to Richie solo, that definitely sticks out on your stuff and on plenty of other tracks on the record.
My solo, I've got to try to remember it. It goes tritone, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got those ascending kind of bends at the front end.
Yeah.
They're fun, man.
Yeah. Good. Great.
Hey, okay, we can get to Richard now, but I wanted to talk about you first. Tell me about Richard Fortus. How did you guys meet up in the first place?
Well, I did. A lot of people don't know. I played with Rose Tattoo for 8 years since coming back here to Australia, and so we opened for them, as Rose Tattoo always do. Opened for Gunners in 2013, and that's it's when Bumblefoot and AJ. DJ Akbar, I think his name is, was the other guitar player, 3 guitar players, and Richard. So I met him then, and we just hit it off, and we just mates, and he showed me a bunch of stuff that he does, and he does this hybrid picking thing, which I'm still trying to work on, picking and, with the fingers, this sort of thing. And he's just a monster. So, I emailed him a year or two ago, and I said, hey, mate, look, I completely understand if you'd prefer not to, but I'd love to have you play on a track. And he said, man, it'd be an honour. So he just did.
That's great.
And, I said, mate, invoice me, shoot me some, he said, no way. He's kidding. It's just been a fun, been a pleasure to do it. So, yeah, how lucky am I?
That's cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, he goes nuts. He gets quite chromatic and...
Oh, angular. Yeah. I told him I wanted to be angry and angular. Yeah. And so
I think he nailed it.
Nailed. And I love that the thing at the end where he's going, I think he's just like tapping on the frets, like on the strings with a pick or something.
Okay.
At the end, and it finishes on the flat second,
Yeah, killer.
It's on C sharp. Oh, it's angular and naughty. Love it.
Yeah. Well, and he's soloing over the drop C kind of riffy parts as well, so that's a good spot for it.
Yeah,
very cool. It's a very modern rock vibe on that tune. You've got big ears. Like, what are you listening to that keeps stuff fresh for you?
I started the first band that really took me down this particular path was Alter Bridge and Miles Kennedy, and I heard Metalingus I was looking at Mesa amps and stuff, which I used to have a few of. Watching a guy on YouTube, and he had the Mesa preamp and stuff, and he was playing along with this Metalingus thing. It was Alter Bridge, and I thought, who the heck is this? And just Googled straight away, and Miles Kennedy, and it said, and he is currently fronting Slash's touring band. I went, oh, no way, because I knew Slash was coming. Yeah. This is 2010.
Okay.
And I knew Slash was coming. And so I just called Angry straight away. I said, mate, I'm just going to absolutely shamelessly exploit my relationship with you and ask you, could you please get us into the Slash gig, because Slash and him good mates. And I said, would you mind doing that? I'd love to get back to you. I'd just love to meet Miles. And so he and I have been friends since then as well.
Nice.
To have a bit of a yarn to him each time they've been out here. And, very first thing I said to him, I said, tell me, do you sing quietly? Because I had this idea. I think it had to be. And he goes, oh, man, I sing so quiet, you wouldn't believe it. Well, the higher I go, the quieter it is. Yeah. So, yeah, all of that is just picking up scraps of info along the way.
Yeah.
So I've always sort of, in terms of trying to manage my voice,
Sure.
particularly when Avion was, when we were doing a lot of work. We did, like in 84, 85, we would do well over 200 shows a year, and so I really had to manage it carefully. So keep my head down and breathing here, and in my guts, and just the higher it got, just kind of thinking up and not trying too hard, and which makes you push sharp. And we'd listen to the desk tapes all the time, and I think, oh, Randall, that's horrid. What are you doing? And just gradually learn and beat it into shape, and sometimes be even just like whispering on the mic,
Okay.
Made nightmares for the sound guy, of course. But too bad. So yeah. But that's where I've met Miles, and that band has been pivotal in my journey. Other bands I've liked Papa Roach quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Shinedown, particularly the Sounds of Madness. I love that record. That's all Diesel Herbert and a single cut PRS,
Okay.
which is what Left Behind and On the Brink are.
Okay.
That's where I got that thing from. And it turns out Miles uses Diesel Herberts as well. So that stuff for the kids have put me on to Bring Me the Horizon, which is just a great, amazing bunch of guys. And Mackie, my son, who is just a complete devotee of Periphery. I don't know if you've heard much of them. It's just mental, next level stuff. So, which of course my stuff is nothing like, but it's all informed my choices. And
are there any other guests on the record that you want to talk about?
Yes, there is. Strangely, I have kids. Well, she tells me they're mine. I don't know. I don't know, and it's old-fashioned to worry, isn't it? I pay for them, so I don't care. Anyway, I have kids that are at school that I pay for, and you got to have a laugh, mate. So I've been cajoled into, corralled into playing in the school band for the school musical.
Nice.
And so, yeah, nice. Like I mentioned, I do read, but this is like a centimetre thick book of chord charts and notes and what do they call it? Fly, all
the
notes
fly
and
paper.
stuff.
Yeah.
All of that. And so, so I've done that a few times. The most recent, I think, was High School Musical, which was actually a little more my style. We've done Susical. I've done a few of these. Anyway, sitting beside me was a guy who's become a good mate of mine, Steve Dixon, and mate, hell of a bass player. My gosh, he's playing this Tobias 5-string thing, and he's just reading this stuff like it's it's second nature to him. And it's not second nature to me, because I'm used to going 1, 4, 6, 2, 5. I'm used to doing that. And he was just so gracious, and he's become a great mate. So, and I know he loves his metal, right? And it turned out his wife was a bit of a fan of my funny little silly old band back in the day, right? Anyway, so we've become good mates. And I said, mate, I've got this song, and it's the opening track, Left Behind, right?
Yep.
So it's important, really important. And I just listened to it again today, actually. And I said, mate, I've got this. It's a really tricky part, and it's got sort of quite a lot of strange intervals, and it's got minor seconds and stuff in it. So, mate, would you mind coming over and giving it a go? Which he did, and his sound has always been great, and he's got this great little I forget what it was, but it's got this kind of a growl knob on it.
Uh-huh.
If you put it up, it's kind of an overdrivey kind of a thing. Mate, it was just a great tone for the song, and so we did that, and it's really tricky because he's doing like minor second, and then the minor second goes up like 159, I think, something like that, and then back to the 1. It's really tricky, and he just, mate, he freaking nailed it.
It's a big part.
Good.
It sounds massive on the tune.
It's not easy.
Uh-huh.
It's not easy, and that's why, because on quite a few of the tunes I play the bass, which is a bit embarrassing because people say, "Oh, do you play guitar?" Yeah, I play bass enough to edit.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? Yeah. So I do that.
Yeah.
No, he played the damn thing.
That's killer, man. It is a great part.
And I said, mate, I've got to give you some money. He said, go on, get out of here. No way. He's a beautiful soul, and his kids are good friends with my kids now. And it's,
nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So he's an absolute champion. If anyone's looking for a bass player in Sydney to do anything, if it's reading or anything else,
awesome, man.
Steve Dixon. He's a Dixon. He's a champion, absolute champion.
Very cool. What are you tuned to in that song as well? It sounds like another down tune.
Might be. I think it's drop C again.
Okay. Yep.
Pretty sure it's a tone down drop C, which is my go-to.
Yeah, it's on a bunch of tunes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on a few. Yeah, I think that's on the Brink as well. I think it's God Complex. There's a few that are like that.
Randy, you mentioned earlier Rockstar might be one of the first tunes to get released.
Yep.
Tell me about that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what people are telling me, and mate, seriously, I'm so close to the whole project. I think I'm not the best person to choose, but that one keeps coming back from different people in the entertainment sphere, let's say, and Rockstar. So the opening line is, I had a real job one time. It was a very bad morning, right? Because I've never really had a real job, me. Like, I did work for my dad for a little while when I was about, I just come back from America when I was doing those early records. And I had to do deliveries for my dad. And that involved getting up early, which was problematic.
Absolutely.
You can call it problematic. I'm not a musician. Anyway, but the gist of it really comes from the second verse. Because whilst we were living overseas, we had a house in Nashville, but we were pretty much all the time on the road. In that first Shania tour, we did 500,000. We did 500,000 kilometres. Wow! In a bus. Brutal. And that's not including air travel.
Okay.
In '99, I did over 100,000 Ks just on United. That doesn't include any of the others. There was a whole bunch of other airlines as well.
Okay.
So, mate, it was just ridiculous. The amount of travel that was involved. So we're living overseas, and we come back, and I think maybe it was early 2004, and the Stones were here doing. They had a 3-mode show where they were doing stadiums, arenas, and they also played at the Enmore. Can you imagine seeing the Stones at the Enmore? Oh my gosh! Come on. Who wouldn't want to be there?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm driving along, and I can't listen to music radio. Who can? You can't listen to music radio because it's either, K-San on one station or it's, on the other station, right? And so I'm listening to talk radio, and there's a panel on. It's a Friday afternoon. There's some panel on ABC Talk Radio, and they mention, the Stones are playing tonight at blah, blah, blah. and one of the younger ones says, "Yeah, I'm going to that." Oh, why would you go to that? Oh, you got to be kidding! Like what? Oh, yeah, they're going to wheel them out in wheelchairs and Zimmer. Get on these absolute heroes. Now, look, I'm not a huge Stones fan. I've got a couple of their albums. I've seen them a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, great. And like good Lord, they're like 75 years old. They're still doing it. And they're doing it a lot better than a lot of the 25-year-olds, right?
Sure,
and so I think, look, it's not hero worship. It's just respect for you, bro.
Absolutely.
Stones.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me. Your pontifications here in this radio hour, whatever it is, are going to disappear into digital heaven before you can blink. Whereas people are going to be singing these guys' songs, in 40 years, you know.
Sure.
And I'm thinking, who the hell do you think you are? Just have some respect. And yet, at the same time, I'm seeing, okay, here it is. I'm seeing, check this out. I've got a little archive in my way. Rockstar. Here we go. They love to bandy about me. UTA among the rock stars of international qualitative research. They're the rock stars of qualitative research. Apparently, qualitative research has rock stars. What does that mean? Then, cash out fishing. Rock stars of sport fishing. Rock stars of racing to touch down in Warrnambool. Data scientists are the rock stars of business. Why Andy Griffiths and Jeff Kinney are the rock stars of children's literature. Australia's top 100 knowledge leaders are the rock stars of new innovation. And yet, the real rock stars, they disparage and ridicule. And any real rock stars in this country have been regulated out of existence. And it just makes me sick to hear these people on ABC. Oh, why would you go to that? It's like, oh. It just, mate, I'll tell you what, it just gives me the shits. It sends me over. It sent me over the edge then back in 04, and it's made me worse ever since. So that's where the lyric comes from. I won't play your game. I feel no shame. I won't play your game anymore. And the second part of that. So the second verse is. So there's a rock star of fashion world. Get out, you never ever played a note. And there's a rock star of real estate, yet the real ones you hate. You steal our words and more. You're pissed up against the wall. You're just a culture whore, no more. And they're culture whores. Because the real rock stars to which they compare all of these other people, well, what are you going to throw them out with the real rock stars as well? Apparently not. Oh no, they're actual rock stars. Apparently, give me a break. It's embarrassing. So yeah, that's where it comes from. It comes from a place of anger. I'm freaking angry.
Yeah,
I'm angry about it. Yeah,
there you go. It's an angry riff. It's another tuned down riff. Right. Yeah,
yeah, but there's some prettiness about it too.
Yeah,
I think when it goes to the four chord, you know,
yeah,
that bit goes to that four thing. I kind of like it. It's a little bit pretty, but you know, probably too pretty. But
well, it's definitely hooky. And it's hooky as well. Maybe that's why people are talking about it being
that's why it
a first track out. Yeah, nice, man.
Thanks for putting up with me, mate.
Oh, pleasure. Pleasure to hear the backstory. It's got a cool, it's got a really trippy sort of halftime solo section.
Yeah.
I was digging that.
I like the clean kind of that triplet kind of thing throughout the middle.
This episode is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by Joe Elliott, ex-head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology and the McNally Smith College of Music. I was one of the beta testers for the course and can say as a music educator, I was really impressed by the logical sequence of learning. The course has also been endorsed by players such as Brett Garsed and Greg Koch. For more details, check out the links in our show notes. Yeah, nice. You mentioned recording some acoustic stuff in the States. The acoustic guitars sound beautiful.
Oh, good. Yeah, they're great guitars, though.
Man.
Yeah, got two Taylor 710s.
Okay.
One is one's got the cedar top. Hang on. This is the one I used on the second Shania tour.
Okay.
And yes, it has the electronics in it, but no cutaway, clearly, and it's a spruce top.
Uh-huh.
Right? But before they made this, they made what I think is an absolute masterpiece. Sorry, mate, won't be a tick. Here it is. They happen to be here and out of their cases, which is remarkable. This is cedar top.
Okay.
And it's really different and weird, and it just has a zing about the top end. Ooh, it's out of tune. Yeah, so, and with the cutaway, it's just, I used that on the first Shania tour. So between the two of them, on Love Goes On, I had a DI, had them plugged in, but most of the sound's coming from a Rode mic, a Rode Classic.
Okay.
And the Panda, it starts with just one on the right, I think, and then I doubled it and went through the whole thing. Yeah,
the doubling's cool, man. That's
yeah,
nice.
I love that noise. Yeah.
Are you playing an EBO on that tune as well?
EBO.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, goes all chaotic at the end. Yeah,
good way to go.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Let's talk about more guests. Here's a good one: the Budapest Scoring Orchestra.
Oh yeah.
How do you get them on your record?
Well, mate, you know, so I got a really good mate over in the US, and he and I sort of I gave him like a pretty defined brief as to how I wanted the strings to be arranged, and he's a keyboard guy, a keyboard string arranger guy, and Kurt Goebel is his name. He's just a great fella, good mate, and super clever. And so he arranged the strings basically for that and put on sounds that were sort of good at the time, but by the time it got through to last year, or middle of last year, I thought these are kind of showing their age a little bit. I'd rather have something more real on it. And I got another friend here, Sean. Good Lord, I've got a mental block. Sean Peter, who's a super clever guy, and I knew that he had, I think, is it the Stradivarius string samples? I think it used to cost a couple of grand to get these really brilliant string samples. And I said to him, mate, would you be able to replace? I like the part here. All the parts are good. Can I just shoot it to you and you replace it with better sounds? He had it for a week or two. He said, mate, look, I'm snowed under with stuff. He does lots of work with musicals and things like that, and he was doing a lot of work overseas, Singapore and wherever. And he said, mate, look, what you should do, he said, look up the Budapest Scoring Orchestra. Every couple of weeks they do what they call shared sessions. These guys are doing sessions like morning and afternoon every day.
Wow. And
they're doing, movie soundtracks and, just anything and everything you can imagine. And they are just masters, So I had he put me onto another guy who scored the entire thing. I gave him the isolated string tracks, and he scored the whole thing. Sent it over to them, and they booked me in for half an hour.
Okay.
So they do shared sessions. It costs you basically $1,000 for half an hour, and they gave me 4 takes with 22 tracks.
Wow.
and there's surround. There's distance mics, and there's close ones on 4 of the first violins, 12 first violins, 10 seconds, 8 violas, 6 cellos. And I could have had 4 double basses, but didn't really have a use for them. So, and the cellos are only in the middle section of the hunger.
Okay.
But, mate, and they just could not have been more helpful. The conductor was a young guy. He says, "Randall, thank you for the wonderful music." I think they're not used to playing on such stuff, But they were just brilliant and so helpful. And I just stressed to them that because it's quite precise and metronomic in terms of the part. They're it's kind of like Kashmir or something.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they copied me on that. And so he says, "Tell me." So after they finished the second take, he says, "So, Master, do you have any notes for us? How is the articulation? Is it fine enough? Is it fast enough?" Because I've found that orchestras can be a bit lax on timing.
Oh, okay.
But no, mate, they were just on it, and it was just a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
They were playing my song in Hungary. It was really brilliant, and it wasn't expensive, and I just wonder how they do it for that much money. But anyway, all of that to say, the budget that the Arts Council gets here is something like, I think it's something like $150 million in round figures, $150 million a year. The Arts Council of Australia, $55 million of that goes to the biggest cover bands in Australia, the Sydney Symphony,
the orchestras,
Adelaide, Perth. That's it. Now, I think it's great that they're around, but it's our money, it's our tax money that is paying for that, and we have absolutely no access to something like Budapest. Why? Doesn't seem right to me, but anyway. So I had to go to Hungary to find an orchestra to play it.
Let's go offshore, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome, Bart. So we're on pick up. So you're listening into the session as they're doing it, and they're
zoomed in. Yeah, just zoomed.
Oh, how exciting, man!
Yeah, it was thrilling, absolutely thrilling, and it will change the way I write now that I know that that's available.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll write with that in mind.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. Joel McDonald. Well, I'll talk about a few. We'll keep talking guests, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I'm jumping around a bit, but Joel McDonald, who spent a little bit of time in Rose Tattoo. They've had a few guitar players in and out since you.
Oh, we've all had a
we've all had a turn.
Yeah, great fun.
But Joel's awesome, young
he's just
bloke,
a freak. He's
killer.
A freak of nature.
I know you've done a bunch of things with him and the Frankie's World Famous band as well, which is very cool. Yeah, did you record? I'm talking. The track is "The Best Days." Did you record that song together, or are you just sending parts?
Sure did.
Yeah,
right here.
Oh, fantastic!
I'm going to post it later on. I've got because I set my phone up to record it, and so then I did cherry pick the sort of the best, or not necessarily the best. Kind of because we took a couple of bars each, sort of thing.
Yeah, back and forth.
4 bars each.
Yeah.
And so I took the ones that worked cohesively with the others. But when I post it, I'll just post the raw bones. And mate, you can't keep up with Joel. Like mate, he is just next level. My gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bit embarrassing me playing alongside him, but.
Oh man, I wouldn't say that, but he is killer.
Well, mate, he's just a different echelon. But having all of these guests on raise the bar on the whole project and really give it credibility.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's just keep talking guitar players. There's so many good guests. This pod's got a little bit of a bias. Chris Kamzelas, lovely bloke.
Oh, he's a champion. Yeah,
and a Strat wielding maniac.
Crazy.
He's got a cool
I think
vibe.
his solo though on Wilderness, it's very measured, isn't it?
Yeah. Melodic.
It's beautiful and just is perfect for the mood of the song and for the lyric. I think, and he nailed that just beautifully and didn't try to blast his way out of it at all, which is that's not Chris's nature to do that. That's why I chose him to do the song, because it's quite a busy riff underneath it, and so he did a great job. Great soul. Love Chris.
Yeah, sweet guy, absolutely. Irwin Thomas, some of us know as Jack Jones.
Another freak of nature. Good Lord, seriously. It is an embarrassment of riches, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, you've just lined him up. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's just a monster. And he was just getting to know the Axe FX. So that was his Axe FX3, which, once again, of course, it sounds real. So he just did several takes and just kept saying, okay, have a listen to this, mate. And he'd send it over and go, and then he'd go, yeah, no, hang on. I'll just do that. Hang on. I'll do another one. And so he'd do that, and then he'd send that over. He'd go, no, hang on a sec. Hey, hang on, I've got another idea. And so, it formed like that. So,
nice.
I can't say we worked together on it, but he was super generous and just so much fun. He's a great bloke. I love Uzi.
Awesome,
and
man.
What a singer! My gosh.
Yeah.
Freak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's working with the original gangster here. You singing and wailing on guitar yourself. I think he's. Mate. Compared to these guests, I mean, seriously, I'm not being falsely modest. I know where I can make myself sound okay. No problem. But I have a pretty realistic view of where I sit in the scheme of things. But I'm honoured to have them all there. Yeah, that's cool. When you've got lots of guitar parts going, again, maybe on a song like On the Brink, but this might be more an engineering question, perhaps. How do you keep the clarity when you've got lots of really very thick guitar tones going on?
Yeah,
because I reckon the tunes do that, and it's probably easier said than done.
Yeah, maybe. I did have to. There was a couple of tracks I needed to thin out a bit. They were getting a bit messy, but really. On that one, all there is let's look. I have a guitar pick on me. Yeah. All there is really on that is. Let me just grab a guitar. All there is. There's just that, which is the main riff. I don't know if you can hear that much, can you?
Sounds a bit goofy on the Skype, but it'll probably sound better on your mic. So that's cool, yeah.
That one. But then all there is above that, and I can't even remember how I played it now, is that just playing octaves.
Okay. Yep.
That's it. So it's just brutal double riff with that line up the middle. So that one wasn't too bad. There was the bridge of God Complex was a little bit tricky.
The panned guitars in that are really cool, and busy.
Yeah, Jack. I love that part. Yeah, there's some parts that just really I find just make me smile. Yeah, but the middle eight in that there's a part that I wish I could have pushed out more, but something has to go. So anyway. Yeah, no, that's a very valid question, mate. And I hope it comes through that it doesn't sound too dense,
Yeah, like I said, to me, I mean, it's just my ears too. But yeah, the tones sound fat, which is awesome. But yeah, there's a clarity to hear the parts.
Chunky, does it?
Yeah, man.
Great, good.
That's what I'm hearing anyway. Yeah. What about tones? Like, because you've done a lot of recording, maybe this is built in, but are you like pulling bottom end out of tones that might be a little fat alive, perhaps?
Just yeah, probably rolling off. I mean, certainly in the bottom end of kick and bass, rolling off from 80 pretty much.
Yeah.
And then, but guitars also thinning down from say 200 down, trying to keep it under control and keep it tight and that sort of thing, rather than woofy and stuff, because it can get that kind of tone, that high gain tone, can get real woofy and nasty. And take over the track and cloud everything and make it mud.
Yeah, and it's funny, the different eras too. I remember in the 90s there were bands, especially when extended range, 7 and later on 8-string guitars, like people were pulling out subs for their guitar rigs. The bass players were wondering what to do.
No.
I think everyone realised quickly
it's just
tighter sounds bigger.
Counterproductive, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Hey, what other guitars are you playing on the record? So you said the PRSs?
PRS double cut, which I...
Oh, that's the X guitar.
Yeah, they all got X on.
Oh, they all do? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much all. That one, and I've got a PRS single cut. It's a Tremonti thing.
Nice.
And that still has the original pickups in it, original passives, and a lot that ended up being probably the go-to, because it was always tuned down and always is.
Yeah.
This one I played a lot too. This Stratocaster over here, and the metal Strat as well that I used. That's the main guitar used on the Shania thing. That's a profile.
I
copy.
remember that guitar.
Don't tell Fender. Yeah.
No.
So that's a good one.
Is that the original profile? Because I remember you had a profile with a Floyd and one without. Is that the Floyd one?
That's the one.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's epic.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the original one. And had put that on in America, and it's just a great guitar. Bought it for $200.
Yeah, awesome.
And, gutted it. Every piece of metal on it has been changed, of course. So, yeah. So those and a couple of others here and there. Music Man bass.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Very cool. I remember when you talk about low output pickups, I remember years and years ago, pardon me, actually I think it was the Rebel Yell Guitar Challenge in the early 90s. You were in the house band with Dave Holmes and those guys. I remember you saying they made you play the Ibanez guitars. So Dave was fine because he already had an RG. I think it was an RG or something.
I don't know what it was, but
it was his own guitar. But you had to find the Ibanez you liked.
Had to, and we had to use that and PV 5150.
That's right. Yeah,
Australis or something. So I had to go and choose one of these Ibanez guitars, and I plugged that in and played it for a bit, and then unplugged it and plugged in a white Stratocaster that I put. It was a pizzicaster, and that I built that had EMGs in it, and the difference, it was just embarrassing. It was, that Stratocaster just had the Ibanez for breakfast.
Yeah.
And so, but I also had my 100-watt Super Lead Marshall behind the cap behind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was probably the best ad for the 5150 ever. But I couldn't do the 5150 thing. Now, but I'm a PV fan now. I've got two of the PV classics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fantastic.
Together for gigs, just pub gigs around here.
Yeah.
And I love them to death. And I think that those EVH ones are mighty too. Yeah. So
right.
I don't know. It was early days of 5150s, and they were just a bit brittle and I don't know, a bit nasty. Yeah.
They were hard work. But I remember you saying, I think with the Ibanez, you're saying the good guitars have the high output pickups, but you like low output pickups, which means you have to decide if you're going to play the better guitar or the...
Yeah, all of these EMGs are as low output as I can get, especially in the neck. This one here, EMG do this one. This is an SA, a single coil.
Oh, okay.
That they put into a humbucker chassis so it's still, you can still get a little bit of a throaty neck pickup sound.
Very cool. Very cool. I was too young and dumb to understand what you meant back then, but these days I play low output. And I went, I remember Randall. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, well, then you push the amp,
Yeah.
And that's where the magic is, I think. All of these EMGs, it's low output as I can get, which is still a bit higher, really. I'd prefer they were a bit lower. But anyway, they sound good.
That's cool. Hey, so what are the plans for release? I know you've mentioned videos and
I've just been over at a mate's place today. He has a production facility over at North Sydney, talking about doing a listening party in the next few weeks, and where we do this, and I'll just have a little chat before each song, and invite everyone I possibly know. I'll invite you to come over to the studio and have a listen to it. He has a guy who works there. His name's Pete Purcell, and he is an Academy Award winner. He won the sound mixing award for Fury Road, the Mad Max film.
Cool.
And so he just helped me last week do an Atmos surround mix of The Hunger with the orchestra in it. So that's very exciting, and they've got just a gigantic PA system in there where he mixes sound for movies and action movies and IMAX, movies and stuff. So I'll listen to it in there, and we'll have it catered and have some fun and just blast people. And I was also talking to him about the ideas for film clips, which I suppose we'll try to knock out 2 or 3 and then drop those songs on social media first, and then the album perhaps in a few months. So. Yeah, it's hard to know, mate. What do you do to rise above the static? There's so much going on, and short of wearing what Sam Smith wore at the Grammys the other day, what do you do to be noticed?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not really built for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a strange time. It's another animal after you make the music, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just another whole job. Yeah, so I've got some good people helping me with that. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure if it might even be a label thing. I'm not sure. Not sure where we are at this point.
Release coming up. Where are you placed now? Are you still writing stuff? Any thoughts of
always
playing?
It's just always, never stop. Yeah. I've got several songs on the way for another one, perhaps. Yeah. We'll see what happens with this one.
Yeah, I know it's kind of premature. It seems rude of me to ask, actually, but does the
not at all. But it's just it just happens, and constantly putting little humming melodies into my phone and recording them, and just always had lyric lines and stuff.
Yeah, awesome.
So look, we're trying to get this one out of the way first. Maybe do some shows and see what happens. Give it a red go.
Yeah, why not? Fantastic. Where's the best place for people to find out what you're up to? And
I'll normally put everything on Facebook, I suppose. Facebook and Insta. I suppose that's pretty much it. I don't know. It depends if we get a label on board. Maybe it could be more mainstream. Hopefully we can get once the videos are done, I don't know, get them on TV somehow. And not that people don't like when there's rage, I suppose. I mean, where else do you put the videos? I don't know.
I don't know anymore. YouTube. That's it's a weird time.
That's right. And I suppose it'll have to go on Spotify and stuff. I don't even know how Spotify works. The kids show me. I don't have it on my phone, so I don't know. Yeah.
No, all good. Well, the album itself, though, is fantastic. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Stoked you got it out. As I said at the start, I was very excited to hear from you that you're ready to have a chat about it, and you got your tracks all together. And, man, I mean, the guest list is unbelievable, but your playing and singing is ripping as...
Oh, great. Oh, thanks, mate.
A lot of fans of yours would know.
Dario and Pete Drummond on...
Oh, yeah.
Palace as well, Palace of Sand, yeah.
Not a bad rhythm section?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. As I say to them all the time, at a gig, I say, there's nothing like playing with a great rhythm section, and this is nothing like playing with great rhythm section, just for shits and giggles. Yeah.
Nice. I've mislaid a track name, but Sam McNally plays on a...
Yeah, he did. Best Days.
Best Days, that's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
Sammy's great. He's been a mate of mine. Worked with him for jeepers way too long.
Yeah.
35 years. Yeah,
Wow.
he's great. Yeah, great value.
Unreal.
Yeah. We'll see what reaction is. I've had some great reaction from people. I got a lovely email from Richard yesterday. Richie,
Nice.
saying he says, "Damn, dude." What does he say? It's quite funny. There it is. He says, "Randall, damn, dude, what an amazing piece of work. Congratulations. This is really spectacular. Your playing is just staggering." He must be talking about Joel and Irwin, I think. So excited for you. All the best to you and the fam. Yeah.
That's great.
So it's nice. I had some great reaction from other mates that I've played it to as well. So it's all positive so far. But, not everyone's going to like it. People will listen to it and just think dinosaur or what. I don't know, mate, but I'm beyond caring.
Yeah, I think
we just have a red hot go.
Yeah, exactly. Do you whack it out there?
Just stay in my lane. Just do what I do. Yeah.
Randall, thank you so much for joining me again. Really cool to catch up.
On you, brother. Thanks, mate. Thanks for the time.
All right, there you go. Randall Waller back on the Guitar Speak podcast. Man, the album's massive. It's fantastic. So please look out for it. I'll include links to those early interviews I had with Randall, but also Randall's Facebook. Probably the best place to keep an eye out, the release dates. And of course, we'll let you know as soon as the record drops. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. My great thanks also to Fretboard Biology, sponsors of the show. Please check out their links in the show notes. And of course, we like to leave you with a little bit of wisdom from Mr. Michael Schenker, who told us way back in episode number 150.
Keep rocking. Keep on rocking.
Keep on rocking, indeed. All right, we'll catch you next time. Bye now.